The tale of the Templars, one of history's most enigmatic orders, has captivated us for centuries. Shrouded in secrecy, their story is marked by the sudden and dramatic dissolution in 1312, leaving behind questions about their true purpose, their treasures, and their survival. While most historical accounts focus on their medieval exploits, there are whispers of the Templars' enduring legacy in places far removed from Europe. One such place is Hawaii, an isolated archipelago in the Pacific Ocean. Why would the Templars, whose headquarters were in Europe, be linked to an island chain thousands of miles away? Could it be that their hidden knowledge transcended geographic boundaries? Hawaii, often revered for its spiritual significance, may have been a key location for the Templars' continued mission, one that involved more than just material wealth. They were protectors of sacred knowledge, and perhaps Hawaii was the final bastion where this wisdom was preserved. The mystery begins to unfold with the discovery of ancient maps and symbols in Hawaii that seem to echo the Templar legacy. The Mappa Mundi, a famous Templar map, has been the subject of debate among researchers for years. Some believe it contains coded directions to secret locations across the world. Upon closer examination, the symbols on the map, especially the crosses and markings that resemble Templar insignia, seem to align with specific points in Hawaii. Could these marks be an indication of Templar activity? Historical records show that the Templars had a long history of creating intricate maps, often encoding spiritual knowledge and geographical locations that were considered sacred. The island's sacred geography, with its celestial alignments and hidden caves, could have made it an ideal place for the Templars to guard their secrets. This connection between ancient maps and Hawaiian landmarks is no mere coincidence. It suggests a deliberate effort by the Templars to conceal something profound on the islands. The Templar Order was more than just a military force. It was an organization dedicated to safeguarding and disseminating knowledge. For centuries, they were the keepers of sacred wisdom, from alchemy to geometry to ancient manuscripts that predated Christianity. As they expanded their influence across Europe, it is possible that the Templars sought out far-flung locations to protect this knowledge. Hawaii, with its remote isolation, may have served as a strategic location to preserve these secrets. The Polynesian peoples, who navigated vast distances across the Pacific, possessed knowledge of the stars, which may have intersected with Templar understanding of sacred geometry and celestial alignments. Whether through encoded maps, hidden symbols, or oral traditions, the Templars likely saw Hawaii as an essential piece of their global network. This connection between Templar knowledge and indigenous wisdom raises fascinating questions about what ancient secrets the Templars might have been protecting and why they chose Hawaii as a sanctuary. Hawaii is more than just a collection of beautiful islands. It is a land steeped in spiritual significance, with a history that stretches far beyond European exploration. The native Polynesians, who navigated the vast Pacific using nothing but the stars, saw their islands as sacred spaces, linked to the cosmos through celestial alignments and divine energy. The Hawaiians believed that their islands were interconnected with the heavens, and their understanding of the Earth's energy was closely tied to the stars. This deep spiritual connection to the land and the sky aligns with the principles of sacred geometry, which was a key area of knowledge for the Templars. The Templars were known for their obsession with celestial alignments and their use of sacred geometry to unlock the mysteries of the universe. They understood that certain locations on Earth, when aligned with the stars, held immense spiritual power. Given Hawaii's position in the Pacific, it is possible that the Templars, known for their far-reaching networks, were drawn to these islands not just for their natural beauty, but for their spiritual significance. The Hawaiian Islands could have been seen as a place of power, an ideal location for safeguarding knowledge that transcended time and space. In the Templar tradition, knowledge of the sacred and the divine was guarded fiercely, and Hawaii may have been one of the few remaining places where such wisdom was protected. The presence of sacred sites in Hawaii, such as the stone temples and the alignment of certain mountains with the stars, further suggests that these islands were more than just a remote outpost for the Templars. They were likely a sacred space, carefully chosen for its spiritual resonance with the order's esoteric beliefs. The connection between the Templars and Hawaii, then, may not just be a physical one, but a metaphysical one, rooted in the ancient understanding of the power of the land and the heavens. Across the Hawaiian Islands, scattered among lava fields, forested valleys, and windswept cliffs, are symbols and markings that have puzzled researchers for decades. Some of these appear entirely consistent with traditional Hawaiian culture. Petroglyphs depicting everyday life, ancestral stories, or spiritual motifs. But others stand out sharply, as if they do not quite belong to the cultural language of the islands. These unusual symbols, some resembling crosses, shield-like shapes, geometric engravings, and even architectural alignments, have inspired an unsettling question. Could they be remnants of an unknown contact, perhaps even a medieval one? And if so, is it possible that some of these symbols bear the signature of the Knights Templar? The idea may sound improbable on the surface. Hawaii, after all, lies in the center of the Pacific, thousands of miles from any medieval European world. Yet the deeper one looks, the more intriguing these symbolic mysteries become. Some stones bear markings that resemble Templar crosses, not the simple Christian cross, but the distinct Latin and Maltese-style designs associated with Templar architecture, seals, and ceremonial tools. These symbols appear carved on boulders in remote areas where no European explorers were known to have set foot until centuries later. Although mainstream archaeologists dismiss these as coincidences, the resemblance is difficult to ignore. One of the most puzzling aspects of these symbols is that they appear in clusters near ancient Hawaiian heiau, sacred temple sites that were used for rituals, star observation, and offerings to the gods. The placement seems intentional, as if whoever carved them was trying to leave a message at a spiritually significant location. Some of these heiau have structural alignments that mirror ancient European sacred geometries, particularly the compass and square patterns found in medieval monastic sites, including those associated with the Templars. Could this be a case of convergent evolution in sacred architecture? Or has an older, forgotten influence somehow connected these two distant worlds? Even more perplexing are the petroglyphs that depict crosses surrounded by circular halos, a style that does not appear in traditional Hawaiian iconography, but is well known in medieval Christian symbology. These markings are not abundant, but their presence raises questions about who carved them and when. Some local oral traditions speak of foreigners who passed through long ago, leaving strange symbols behind. While these legends are often interpreted metaphorically, they may point to encounters that were not documented in written history. There are also stories among Hawaiian elders describing teachers or visitors who brought knowledge of navigation, agriculture, or construction techniques. These accounts are often interwoven with mythology and not tied to any specific culture. However, the timing of these legends overlaps intriguingly with the era following the Templars' disappearance from Europe. For researchers who entertain the possibility of pre-modern transoceanic contact, these symbolic parallels provide tantalizing clues. Another mysterious element is the appearance of carved stones that seem out of place in Hawaiian tradition. Some stones have grooves, shapes, or patterns reminiscent of European markers used for land boundaries, sacred sites, or ritual tools, particularly those used by medieval military orders. One stone in particular, found deep in a volcanic valley, features a raised cross enclosed in a shield-like form. While erosion has softened its edges, its design is unmistakably similar to heraldic crosses used by the Templars and related groups. Skeptics argue that these symbols could have been carved by later European explorers, missionaries, or settlers. But the problem with that explanation is the location of many of these carvings. Places inaccessible to early missionaries, hidden far from the coastal settlements where Europeans first established themselves. Some are located in dense forests or at high elevations requiring extensive knowledge of the terrain, places where early Westerners simply had no reason to venture. Furthermore, carbon dating of organic material surrounding some marked stones suggests a timeline that predates the arrival of Western missionaries. This does not prove that medieval Europeans created the symbols, but it opens the possibility that outsiders reached Hawaii earlier than official history acknowledges. If that is true, then the question becomes who and how. Among all medieval groups, the Templars stand out as having both the motive and capability for long-distance, clandestine voyages. Their maritime network, wealth, and access to ancient maps could have enabled them to explore regions far beyond Europe. If they did reach the Pacific, they would likely have kept their presence discreet, leaving only subtle markers for others within their secret networks to recognize. Symbols, encoded signs, and sacred geometry would be their natural means of communication. There is also the intriguing connection between the Templars and esoteric traditions that emphasize sacred sites aligned with cosmic energies. Hawaii, with its volcanic spiritual power, its astronomical temples, and its deep cultural reverence for the cosmos, would have held extraordinary significance to a group like the Templars. If they believed that knowledge or relics connected to the divine could be found in distant lands, Hawaii might have been one of their hidden destinations. It is possible that the Templars left symbols as a way of marking places of power or as a way of encoding their journey. These symbols, unnoticed by generations, could have survived simply because they blended into the vast tapestry of Hawaiian petroglyphs. Only in modern times, with renewed interest in suppressed histories and ancient mysteries, have researchers begun to recognize their potential significance. Another line of interpretation focuses on the idea that these symbols may not directly represent the Templars themselves, but rather reflect a shared lineage of ancient knowledge. Some theorists suggest that the Templars inherited wisdom from much older civilizations, Phoenicians, Egyptians, or the legendary cultures that existed before recorded history. If those ancient navigators reached the Pacific, their symbols and architectural principles could have influenced both Hawaiian traditions and the secret teachings preserved by the Templars. In this view, the symbols in Hawaii and the Templar symbols are not identical because of direct contact, but because they share a deeper, more ancient origin. Of course, the possibility remains that some symbols are coincidental resemblances. Human cultures often arrive at similar shapes for spiritual or practical reasons: the cross, the circle, the star. But coincidences tend to be scattered and inconsistent. In Hawaii, the symbols that resemble Templar motifs appear in specific contexts, near sacred temples, alongside geometric alignments, or in locations tied to ancient Hawaiian spiritual power. The patterns are too deliberate to ignore. As we explore these symbolic mysteries, we are left with a striking realization. Hawaii holds layers of hidden meaning, and its ancient sites may preserve traces of encounters or knowledge exchanges that have been forgotten by conventional history. Whether these symbols were carved by the Templars themselves or by others who carried similar knowledge across the seas, their presence opens the door to a larger mystery, one that bridges continents, centuries, and civilizations. And if the islands do hold traces of medieval voyagers, then these symbols may be far more than carved stones. They may be the first quiet whispers of a story long buried beneath the waves of time, a story we are only now beginning to uncover. When exploring the Templar mystery in Hawaii, we must ask a crucial question. How could medieval knights, with their far-reaching influence and maritime capabilities, have left their mark on an isolated archipelago in the Pacific? The conventional narrative suggests that European explorers only began reaching the Pacific Islands in the late 15th and early 16th centuries. Yet, there are accounts and clues that suggest long before contact mysteries, challenging the widely accepted timeline. Could the Templars, or their survivors, have ventured across vast oceans long before Columbus made his journey to the Americas? The notion of pre-Columbian transoceanic contact is not new. Over the years, scholars, historians, and independent researchers have unearthed compelling evidence of ancient maritime cultures making long-distance voyages. From the Vikings' trips to North America to the Polynesians navigating the vastness of the Pacific, it becomes clear that the ancient world was not as isolated as we are often led to believe. This broader view opens the possibility that other groups, such as the Templars, could have explored regions far beyond their known territories. To understand how the Templars might have reached Hawaii, we need to revisit the vast and secretive network of influence they controlled during their heyday. The Templars were not only warriors and bankers, but also master seafarers, with an extensive fleet and a sophisticated understanding of navigation. Historical records show that they had access to advanced maps and maritime knowledge, much of which was preserved through their connection with the Knights Hospitaller and other secret societies. Some of these maps, such as the Pyrie Reis map, depict regions that were supposedly unknown to Europeans at the time, including parts of the Americas and even the Pacific coast. Could the Templars have used these maps to guide them to distant lands? There is evidence suggesting that they may have had the means to do so. During the Crusades, the Templars not only fought on the front lines, but also forged alliances with other maritime powers, including the Venetians and the Genoese. These trading and military connections could have facilitated long-distance journeys to places like the Near East, North Africa, and potentially beyond. While the mainstream historical narrative insists that Europe remained largely isolated from the Pacific until the Age of Exploration, there are clues that suggest the Templars may have ventured farther into the unknown, driven by a thirst for both knowledge and spiritual enlightenment. The idea that the Templars could have reached the Pacific long before it was officially discovered becomes more plausible when considering their extensive trade networks, secretive nature, and advanced navigation techniques. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence supporting this idea is the sudden and mysterious disappearance of the Templar Order in the early 14th century. In 1312, Pope Clement V officially disbanded the Knights Templar under pressure from King Philip IV of France. Many of the Templars' leaders were arrested, tortured, and executed under accusations of heresy, while their vast wealth and property were seized. But what happened to the remaining Templars who survived the purge? It is widely believed that many Templars fled France and went into hiding, either forming new secretive societies or disappearing altogether. Some believe that these survivors, along with the treasures they had accumulated over centuries, including sacred relics, secret knowledge, and valuable maps, sought refuge in distant lands where they could continue their mission. If this were the case, could Hawaii have served as a place of sanctuary? With its remote location, rich spiritual significance, and sacred geography, the Hawaiian Islands could have provided the perfect location for these exiled knights to regroup, protect their secrets, and preserve the esoteric knowledge they had fought so hard to protect. The idea of Templar survivors traveling to distant lands is not purely speculative. Evidence of European explorers and missionaries reaching the Pacific before the official age of exploration exists in many forms. The Portuguese, for instance, are known to have established early maritime routes to Africa, Asia, and even the Americas by the late 15th century. The maps they used, some of which are known to have been based on Templar navigational charts, show surprising accuracy in depicting the locations of islands, coastlines, and other landmarks that had yet to be explored by European eyes. It is within this context that the theory of Templar voyages to Hawaii begins to gain traction. If Templar survivors carried with them ancient maps and navigational knowledge, they would have had the means to reach the Pacific, possibly following trade routes established by earlier seafaring cultures like the Phoenicians or even the Egyptians. These ancient mariners, experts in the art of navigation, could have passed down their knowledge through the centuries, eventually finding its way into the hands of the Templars, who were equally adept in maritime exploration. The Templars' purported search for the Holy Grail, not just as a physical artifact, but as a symbol of hidden wisdom, further supports the theory that they were motivated to explore distant lands. The Grail, often interpreted as a source of divine knowledge or eternal life, could have been tied to a deeper, more universal truth that transcended geographical and cultural boundaries. In this light, Hawaii, with its rich spiritual heritage and mysterious energy, could have been viewed as a sacred destination. It could have been a place where Templar knights sought to uncover ancient wisdom, hidden not just in relics, but in the very fabric of the land itself. The idea that the Templars were searching for something larger than material wealth or religious artifacts fits into a broader esoteric tradition that values the pursuit of hidden knowledge over the accumulation of treasure. Many modern researchers argue that the Templars' quest for the Grail was less about the object itself and more about the mystical understanding it represented, an understanding of the universe's hidden forces, divine geometry, and the secrets of immortality. As the Templars retreated into exile, it is possible that their journey to the Pacific was not just a physical one, but also a spiritual pilgrimage. They may have believed that the Hawaiian Islands held some key to the ancient wisdom they had uncovered during their time in the Holy Land, a wisdom tied to the mysteries of creation and the cosmos. By seeking refuge in a remote and sacred place, the Templars could have been continuing their quest for enlightenment, hoping to unlock the final mysteries of existence. The concept of a secret Templar presence in Hawaii is not limited to ancient maps or cryptic symbols. Some modern researchers point to the Polynesian migration patterns and their advanced knowledge of celestial navigation as evidence of pre-modern transoceanic travel. Could it be that these ancient seafarers were not the only ones capable of crossing vast oceans with remarkable precision? Could Templar explorers, guided by their own sophisticated maps and secret knowledge, have followed the same path, leaving behind clues that have only now begun to be uncovered? In the end, the possibility that the Templars reached Hawaii is not just a question of physical travel. It's about the deeper spiritual journey they were on. Whether they arrived by boat or by some other means, the Templars' search for hidden wisdom, for divine knowledge, could have led them to this far-flung archipelago, a place rich with ancient energy and spiritual significance. If they did indeed find sanctuary here, Hawaii may hold the key to a forgotten chapter in the story of the Templars, a chapter that remains shrouded in mystery, waiting to be uncovered. As we continue to unravel the mysteries of Templar activity in Hawaii, one question lingers in the air. What exactly were the Templars searching for in the Pacific, and why might they have chosen such a remote and spiritually significant location? To understand this, we need to take a step back and examine the spiritual and philosophical motivations that guided the Templar order throughout its history. The pursuit of material wealth and power, while undeniably important to the order, was always secondary to a much larger and more mystical goal: the search for hidden, esoteric knowledge that could unlock the secrets of the universe. The idea that the Templars were drawn to Hawaii due to its spiritual significance is not as far-fetched as it may seem. Ancient Hawaiian culture was deeply rooted in cosmology, sacred geometry, and an understanding of the natural world that bordered on the mystical. Hawaii's vast landscapes, its towering volcanic mountains, its sacred valleys, and its powerful oceanic forces were seen as the embodiment of divine energies. These energies were not just understood as part of nature, but as an interconnected system of cosmic forces that could influence the fate of individuals and civilizations. In short, Hawaii was seen as a place where the physical world intersected with the spiritual realm, making it an ideal location for anyone, including the Templars, in search of hidden knowledge. The Templars, as a secretive military and religious order, were believed to have pursued knowledge that went far beyond conventional Christianity. Their interest in sacred geometry, alchemy, and ancient mysteries, many of which were influenced by pre-Christian traditions, was not merely intellectual but deeply spiritual. It is often argued that the Templars were not just protecting material wealth or relics, but were seeking to uncover the deeper, mystical truths of the universe. These truths, tied to the ancient wisdom of the Egyptian, Sumerian, and even Atlantean civilizations, would have been closely connected to a hidden understanding of the cosmos, one that transcended the teachings of the Church. Given their fascination with cosmic knowledge, the Templars would have been naturally drawn to places on Earth that held particular spiritual significance. The Hawaiian Islands, with their rich tapestry of mythology, sacred sites, and astronomical alignments, would have been a compelling destination for an order such as the Templars. Hawaii was, in many ways, the perfect place for the Templars to continue their quest for spiritual enlightenment, especially as they sought refuge from their enemies in Europe and the Middle East. Hawaiian culture, particularly in its ancient form, had an intricate understanding of the celestial realm. The Polynesians, who were some of the earliest settlers of the islands, navigated the vast Pacific Ocean with an astonishing level of sophistication, using the stars, winds, and ocean currents as their guide. Their navigation system was based on principles of sacred geometry, and they understood the positions of the stars and planets in ways that modern astronomers are still studying. This understanding of the cosmos was not merely scientific, but was also tied to their religious and spiritual practices. The heavens were seen as an active participant in daily life, influencing everything from planting crops to making decisions about warfare. The connection between the Templars' interest in sacred geometry and the Polynesians' navigation techniques is striking. Both groups shared an esoteric understanding of the universe, seeing the celestial realm as a reflection of divine order. The Templars, through their study of ancient texts, occult traditions, and sacred architecture, were deeply involved in the idea that the Earth's energy could be harnessed through the use of sacred symbols, geometry, and alignment. Hawaii, with its unique alignment of sacred sites and natural energy flows, may have presented the Templars with a potent source of spiritual power, a kind of cosmic battery that could be tapped into for their own esoteric purposes. One of the most intriguing aspects of Hawaiian spirituality is the belief in mana, a kind of spiritual energy or life force that flows through all living things. This concept bears a striking resemblance to the Templar understanding of sacred energy and power, which was often tied to the idea of hidden knowledge, divine favor, and the ability to channel cosmic forces. The Templars, particularly in their mystical and alchemical practices, believed that certain places on Earth were imbued with this kind of energy, sacred sites where the veil between the physical and spiritual worlds was thin. These locations, whether in Europe or the Middle East, were carefully chosen for their proximity to ley lines, geomagnetic points, or celestial alignments. Could Hawaii have been seen as one of these sacred places, a land of immense spiritual power where the Templars could connect with the hidden forces of the universe? Some theories suggest that the Templars' search for sacred knowledge in Hawaii was connected to their desire to uncover the ultimate secret, the Philosopher's Stone. In alchemical tradition, the Philosopher's Stone was believed to be a substance capable of turning base metals into gold and granting eternal life. However, many alchemists believe that the stone was also a symbol of hidden, divine knowledge that could unlock the secrets of the universe. If the Templars were indeed searching for this elusive stone, it is not hard to imagine that they would have been drawn to Hawaii as a place where the forces of nature and the cosmos were in perfect harmony. The volcanic activity on the islands, which produces immense natural energy, could have been seen as a physical manifestation of the cosmic forces they sought to understand. Another possibility is that the Templars were searching for something even more significant: the true nature of human consciousness. The idea that the Templars were interested in unlocking the potential of the human mind and soul is supported by their connections to the Rosicrucians and other esoteric societies, who were deeply concerned with spiritual enlightenment and the evolution of human consciousness. In this context, Hawaii's unique natural and spiritual landscape could have been seen as a key to unlocking a higher state of being, a place where one could connect with the divine in a way that was not possible in the material world. What makes the Templar connection to Hawaii particularly fascinating is that it is not simply a tale of lost treasure or hidden relics. It is a story of spiritual seekers, explorers of the cosmos, and mystics searching for a deeper understanding of the universe and their place within it. The Templars' quest for sacred knowledge was not just about material gain or political power, but about transcending the limitations of the physical world and attaining a higher level of spiritual awareness. This perspective shifts the focus from Hawaii as merely a refuge for fleeing knights to a place of immense spiritual potential, a place where the Templars could have come to continue their sacred mission of uncovering the hidden truths of existence. The very nature of Hawaii, with its volcanic energy, sacred mountains, and celestial alignments, would have made it an ideal location for such an undertaking. Whether they sought to discover a physical artifact or unlock the secrets of the universe, the Templars may have viewed Hawaii as a spiritual nexus, a place where the cosmic and the earthly converged. In the end, the mystery of the Templars in Hawaii is not just about the physical traces they may have left behind, but about the spiritual legacy they could have sought to preserve in such a unique and powerful location. The pursuit of knowledge, hidden from the public eye and guarded by secrecy, remains the heart of the Templar story, and it is this quest that may have led them to the far-flung islands of the Pacific. As we continue to explore these mysteries, it becomes clear that the connection between the Templars and Hawaii is not a story of geographical discovery, but one of spiritual enlightenment, a search for the divine that transcends time and place. The possibility of Templar presence in Hawaii doesn't just reside in the realm of speculation and mystery. It is intertwined with a deeper, more profound question about the nature of secret knowledge and the lengths to which secret societies, such as the Templars, might have gone to preserve and protect this knowledge. The Templars, with their vast network, military prowess, and esoteric teachings, were believed to have knowledge that was hidden from the mainstream public, perhaps even from mainstream historians. The question then arises, what kind of knowledge might the Templars have been seeking, and could Hawaii, with its distinct geography and rich spiritual heritage, have played a pivotal role in their quest? For centuries, the Templars were thought to have been guardians of a sacred and powerful secret. The most famous of these secrets is, of course, the Holy Grail. But as the years passed and the Templar story unfolded, it became clear that the order was interested in much more than the material relics associated with Christianity. The Templars were deeply immersed in the study of ancient knowledge, alchemy, sacred geometry, and the esoteric wisdom that linked the material world with higher spiritual truths. This quest for knowledge was not merely intellectual, but practical. The Templars believed that uncovering these hidden truths would grant them access to a higher understanding of the divine order, and thus, a greater power over the physical and spiritual realms. In the context of their spiritual pursuits, the Templars' potential interest in Hawaii makes perfect sense. The Hawaiian Islands were, and continue to be, known for their powerful energy fields, what the ancient Polynesians referred to as mana, a spiritual energy that permeated everything from the land to the people. The Templars, who were influenced by a variety of esoteric traditions, would have understood the power of such energy. They had long been interested in the harnessing of cosmic forces and Hawaii's ley lines, its volcanic activity, and its spiritual significance could have presented an ideal location for the Order's continuing search for hidden, transformative knowledge. One of the primary reasons why Hawaii may have been seen as a hub of spiritual power is its unique geographical and geological features. The islands themselves are formed from volcanic activity, meaning that they are constantly renewing and reshaping themselves. Volcanic energy has long been associated with creation, destruction, and the rebirth of both the earth and the spirit. For the Templars, who were seeking to connect with hidden forces of nature, Hawaii's volcanic landscape would have been seen as a manifestation of the very principles they were searching for: transformation and renewal on a cosmic scale. This might have symbolized a type of alchemical process where the physical and spiritual realms were able to merge, unlocking hidden knowledge. The presence of sacred temples in Hawaii, known as heiau, adds another layer of intrigue to the theory of Templar interest in the islands. These temples were carefully aligned with celestial bodies, particularly the stars, and were used for ritualistic purposes, including sacrifices, offerings, and divination. The practice of aligning sacred structures with celestial bodies is not unique to Hawaii. It was also common in other ancient cultures, including those of Egypt, Greece, and Mesoamerica. What makes the Hawaiian alignment particularly interesting is its precision and the fact that many of these alignments correspond with the very same celestial events and star patterns that were of interest to the Templars. These alignments were not just a matter of religious observance, but were understood as a way of connecting with cosmic energies that could be harnessed for spiritual purposes. For the Templars, sacred geometry was a fundamental aspect of their esoteric belief system. They believed that understanding and working with sacred geometry, whether through the design of cathedrals, temples, or even simple symbols, could open a doorway to higher spiritual knowledge. The Hawaiian heiau, with their precise alignment to the stars and other natural forces, could have been seen by the Templars as a model for their own sacred structures. It is possible that the Templars saw these sacred sites as not merely ancient relics, but as living, breathing expressions of divine order. These temples were designed to channel and harness the energies of the cosmos, and the Templars, with their expertise in sacred architecture, may have sought to learn from these ancient Hawaiian practices. Another aspect of Hawaiian spirituality that might have attracted the Templars is the deep connection between the physical world and the spiritual world that was so central to Polynesian cosmology. In Hawaiian belief, everything in the universe, human beings, animals, plants, stars, and rocks, was interconnected through a spiritual energy that flowed throughout the land. This belief mirrored the Templars' own understanding of the world as a complex web of interconnected energies. The Templars were influenced by the idea that the material world was a reflection of higher spiritual truths, and they believed that by unlocking the hidden forces of the physical world, they could gain access to divine knowledge. Hawaii, with its breathtaking natural beauty and its deep spiritual significance, could have represented an ideal place for them to make such discoveries. In addition to the sacred temples and the natural landscape, there is also evidence that suggests the Templars were interested in the teachings of the Polynesians themselves. The Polynesians were master navigators, using the stars and the winds to navigate the vast Pacific Ocean with unparalleled accuracy. Their knowledge of the heavens and the natural world was extremely sophisticated and could have held great appeal for the Templars, who were always seeking new ways to understand the universe. Could it be that the Templars, recognizing the Polynesians' extraordinary understanding of the stars and the world around them, saw Hawaii as a place where they could unlock deeper layers of esoteric knowledge? It's certainly plausible that the Templars might have sought out such advanced navigators, hoping to learn their secrets and possibly even form alliances with them. The Templars' interest in Hawaii may not have been purely intellectual or spiritual. There was also a practical element to their journey. As their order faced persecution and the loss of their wealth and influence in Europe, it is likely that they sought out new places to establish themselves, protect their secrets, and preserve their knowledge. Hawaii, with its remote location and relatively isolated position in the Pacific, would have been an ideal place to build new sanctuaries and retreat from the prying eyes of European authorities. It's possible that the Templars, driven by their desire to protect the knowledge they had uncovered, saw Hawaii as a place where they could continue their sacred work in secret. If the Templars did indeed travel to Hawaii, they may have left behind traces of their presence, not just in the form of symbols and structures, but in the very culture of the islands. There are stories in Hawaiian oral traditions that speak of foreigners who arrived in the distant past, bringing with them new ideas, technologies, and teachings. These visitors were often described as wise, knowledgeable, and mysterious. Could these foreign visitors have been the Templars, or were they possibly another group of travelers who shared similar goals? While the evidence is circumstantial, the presence of these stories in Hawaiian lore adds an additional layer of mystery to the theory that the Templars might have once set foot on these sacred shores. In the end, the idea of Templar activity in Hawaii is not just about the physical presence of the Knights themselves, but about what they were searching for. Hawaii, with its spiritual energy, sacred alignments, and deep connection to the cosmos, may have offered the Templars a rare opportunity to explore higher realms of knowledge. For the Templars, this quest was about far more than material gain or political power. It was about discovering hidden truths and unlocking the mysteries of the universe. And in the distant, mysterious islands of Hawaii, they may have found a place that held the answers they sought. As we delve deeper into the Templar mystery in Hawaii, it becomes evident that the connection between the Templars and the islands goes beyond mere geographical speculation. The idea of Templar influence in Hawaii isn't just based on physical artifacts or sites. It's tied to an entire system of beliefs and practices that resonate with the fundamental nature of Hawaiian spirituality and esoteric traditions. What if, in their search for hidden knowledge, the Templars didn't just seek a physical place of refuge, but a location where the very energy of the land could amplify and sustain their quest for spiritual enlightenment? Could the unique properties of Hawaii's land, water, and sacred spaces have been the key to understanding the Templars' deeper motivations? Central to understanding the Templars' possible interest in Hawaii is the concept of sacred geography. The idea that certain geographical locations have special spiritual significance has existed in many cultures around the world, including both European and Polynesian traditions. For the Templars, sacred geography was not just a matter of constructing sacred buildings or aligning them with celestial bodies. It was about understanding how the landscape itself could reflect or channel cosmic energies, and how these energies could be harnessed to achieve spiritual goals. The Templars, who were well-versed in the teachings of sacred geometry and alchemy, would have been highly attuned to the power of the land and its ability to influence human consciousness and spiritual development. In many ways, Hawaii's volcanic islands represented a living manifestation of this sacred geography. The islands themselves are the result of volcanic activity, with each island being formed by a unique eruption, each an event that symbolized both destruction and creation. This ongoing process of renewal and transformation would have been seen by the Templars as a profound spiritual metaphor, a place where the material world and the spiritual world were in constant flux and transformation. To the Templars, the volcanic landscape of Hawaii would have been symbolic of the alchemical process of transformation, where base materials, or states of being, are transmuted into something higher and more refined. This mirrors the Templars' own spiritual journey, where they sought to purify themselves and achieve a higher state of consciousness. The Hawaiian Islands also possess a remarkable number of sacred sites and geographical features that were carefully mapped and utilized by the ancient Polynesians for spiritual and ceremonial purposes. The concept of sacred space in Hawaiian culture is closely tied to the idea of mana, a kind of spiritual energy that infuses all living things and flows through the land, connecting the physical world with the spiritual. The Hawaiian belief system held that certain locations on the islands were particularly imbued with mana, where the veil between the human world and the spiritual realm was thin. These sites were often the focus of rituals, prayers, and ceremonies designed to connect with divine forces, to heal, or to gain insight into the mysteries of the universe. For the Templars, who had long been involved in the study of sacred symbols and the manipulation of spiritual energies, the idea of accessing such powerful spiritual sites would have been highly appealing. The Hawaiian concept of mana bears striking similarities to the Templar understanding of sacred energy, which was often tied to their esoteric teachings of alchemy, sacred geometry, and the Kabbalah. The Templars were known to have studied the mystical traditions of many ancient cultures, and it is possible that they recognized the spiritual potency of Hawaii's sacred sites as places where they could tap into the hidden forces of the universe. One of the most fascinating aspects of Templar lore is the idea that the Knights possessed secret knowledge, particularly knowledge about the hidden aspects of the universe, the human soul, and the connection between the physical and spiritual realms. This knowledge, some believe, was passed down through generations of Templars, and its preservation became the Order's most sacred mission. The Templars' understanding of the spiritual energies of the Earth, including ley lines, sacred sites, and planetary alignments, was central to their esoteric practices. The connection between these sacred energies and the natural world was not just intellectual, but deeply experiential. The Templars believed that by aligning themselves with the cosmic order, they could achieve a higher state of spiritual awareness, even attaining immortality or divine knowledge. This is where Hawaii's energy fields come into play. The islands are positioned in a unique way within the Pacific Ocean, with a series of geomagnetic points that are said to concentrate powerful natural forces. These points, known as ley lines, have been the subject of much speculation, as they are believed to form a grid around the Earth that can connect sacred sites and enhance spiritual energy. Many researchers and spiritual practitioners believe that Hawaii sits at the intersection of several ley lines, which could explain why ancient cultures place such importance on the islands. If the Templars understood the significance of ley lines and their ability to channel cosmic energy, they would have seen Hawaii as an ideal location to continue their quest for hidden knowledge. In particular, the alignment of the Hawaiian Islands with celestial bodies, such as the rising and setting of the sun, moon, and stars, would have been of great interest to the Templars. Sacred geometry, the study of patterns, proportions, and relationships in the natural world, was a cornerstone of Templar teachings. The Templars understood that the universe operated according to specific, divinely ordained patterns, and they believed that by aligning themselves with these patterns, they could gain access to higher wisdom. Hawaii's strategic position in relation to celestial bodies would have made it a perfect place for such alignment, allowing the Templars to further explore the connection between the heavens and the earth. Another possible Templar connection to Hawaiian sacred geography is the use of specific markers or symbols found throughout the islands that could have been used to chart important locations. Just as the Templars are said to have used symbols like the rose cross, the pentagram, and the fleur-de-lis as part of their spiritual practice, the ancient Polynesians also employed a variety of markers and symbols to represent the cosmos and the sacred energy of the land. These symbols were not just decorative, but were believed to hold deep spiritual significance. It is possible that the Templars, recognizing the importance of these symbols, used them to navigate the islands and tap into the spiritual energy they believed was present there. The idea that the Templars might have used sacred symbols or maps to locate key sites in Hawaii is further supported by the fact that many of the Templar symbols, including the cross and the circle, are found in Hawaiian rock art and petroglyphs. These markings, some of which date back thousands of years, have long been the subject of speculation and mystery. Could these symbols have been left behind by Templar explorers who, having traveled to Hawaii in secret, used these markings to mark significant locations on the islands? Could they have been left as part of a secret map, a guide to the hidden knowledge and energies of the land? Perhaps the most compelling argument for the Templars' interest in Hawaii lies in the deep spiritual significance of the land itself. The islands are home to numerous sacred sites, such as the summit of Mauna Kea, the largest dormant volcano on the planet, which was regarded by the ancient Hawaiians as the highest point of spiritual significance. Mauna Kea is considered a place of connection between the physical and spiritual realms, and its summit is considered the closest point to the heavens. For the Templars, whose entire mission was centered around uncovering hidden knowledge and achieving spiritual enlightenment, a place like Mauna Kea would have been viewed as an ideal location to continue their journey. Ultimately, the connection between the Templars and Hawaii is not just a tale of physical travel, but a narrative of spiritual and esoteric pursuit. If the Templars did, in fact, travel to Hawaii, it would have been for reasons far beyond exploration. They were searching for something much more profound: the knowledge of the cosmos, the energy of the earth, and the hidden truths that lay buried beneath the surface of our understanding. Whether they left behind physical traces of their presence or not, their spiritual connection to Hawaii could have been much deeper and more enduring than we can even imagine. As we continue to investigate the potential Templar connection to Hawaii, it becomes increasingly clear that the story is not just one of hidden knowledge and spiritual discovery. It also involves the enigmatic nature of the Templars themselves, their beliefs, their rituals, and the secretive nature of their order. The idea that the Templars were drawn to Hawaii may not only be about sacred geography or the search for hidden truths. It could also be tied to the very essence of their mission, the preservation of ancient knowledge that threatened to destabilize the established powers of their time. Hawaii, with its rich traditions, isolation, and mystical reputation, may have been more than just a physical haven. It could have represented the key to unlocking the last remaining pieces of the Templar puzzle. The Templars' primary mission, especially after their dramatic downfall in Europe in the early 14th century, was to protect and preserve sacred knowledge. This knowledge, ranging from ancient scriptures to hidden alchemical texts, was not only of religious significance, but also of political and spiritual power. By safeguarding this knowledge, the Templars could wield influence over those who controlled the understanding of the divine and the mysteries of the universe. After the suppression of the Templar order by King Philip IV of France and the subsequent dissolution by Pope Clement V in 1312, many historians believe that the Templars went underground, scattering across Europe and beyond, taking their secrets with them. The loss of power and wealth for the Templars in Europe could have driven them to seek new places to safeguard their knowledge. It is plausible that Hawaii, with its strategic remoteness and spiritual significance, would have been seen as an ideal sanctuary. By relocating to an isolated and spiritually potent land, the Templars could have continued their sacred mission in secret. In fact, some historians speculate that the Templars not only sought to preserve their wealth and knowledge, but also to preserve a more profound understanding of the cosmos that had been passed down through ancient civilizations. Could Hawaii, with its unique connection to the stars, the earth, and the spiritual world, have been the place where the Templars sought to protect this ancient wisdom? Hawaii's isolation also offers an important element in the Templars' narrative. The Hawaiian Islands are situated in the Pacific Ocean, far from the reach of European monarchs or the Catholic Church. In an age when the power of kings and popes was growing, a remote and inaccessible location would have been a valuable asset. The idea of the Templars establishing a hidden stronghold in a faraway place like Hawaii is not as far-fetched as it may seem. In fact, many secret societies throughout history have been drawn to secluded places where they could operate without fear of outside interference. The Templars' need for secrecy, combined with their access to vast networks of knowledge, would have made Hawaii an ideal retreat for safeguarding their most prized secrets. The concept of secret societies is one that is closely associated with the Templars, and it plays a crucial role in understanding their motivations. The Templars were not only a military order, but also a brotherhood united by a deep and esoteric understanding of the world. They were known for their rituals, their codes of conduct, and their shared belief in the existence of hidden truths that lay beyond the grasp of the general population. These secrets were often passed down through initiation rites, and new members were gradually exposed to the mysteries of the order as they ascended through the ranks. This initiation process, which was designed to protect the secrets of the order, was not just about passing down knowledge. It was also about training the Templars to access hidden dimensions of consciousness and to unlock spiritual insights that have been concealed for centuries. It is likely that the Templars used their knowledge of sacred geometry, astrology, and alchemy to navigate the spiritual realms and gain access to hidden truths. These teachings, rooted in ancient traditions, would have made Hawaii a place rich in both spiritual and physical energy, an ideal environment for the Templars to further their studies. The Hawaiian Islands, with their unique spiritual traditions, would have resonated deeply with the Templars' own beliefs. The Polynesian peoples, who were skilled in navigation, astronomy, and the manipulation of natural forces, had an intricate understanding of the cosmos. The Templars, whose understanding of sacred geometry and cosmology was already advanced, would have recognized the alignment of Hawaiian temples and sacred sites with celestial bodies. These alignments, which were integral to Hawaiian spiritual practices, would have mirrored the Templars' own use of sacred geometry to connect with higher spiritual forces. The connection between the two systems of thought, Polynesian and Templar, could have provided a unique synthesis of knowledge, a fusion of ancient wisdom that could unlock new levels of spiritual insight. Moreover, Hawaii's association with the stars, particularly its alignment with the Pleiades, would have been of particular interest to the Templars. The Pleiades, known as the Seven Sisters, have long been associated with mystery and spiritual awakening in many cultures. The Templars, who were deeply interested in astrological and cosmic cycles, may have seen the Pleiades as a key to unlocking hidden spiritual truths. The alignment of sacred Hawaiian sites with the stars, including the Pleiades, could have represented a powerful cosmic code, a map to higher realms of consciousness, and a key to the secrets of the universe. But it wasn't just spiritual knowledge that the Templars were interested in preserving. It was also the physical evidence of their historical legacy. The Templars were not just a mystical order. They were also a powerful military and political force. In the wake of their suppression, many of their financial assets and treasures were lost, seized by the crown and the church. Some historians believe that the Templars were in possession of vast riches and relics, including sacred objects such as the Holy Grail, the Ark of the Covenant, and other ancient artifacts that held significant power. These treasures, if they existed, would have been closely guarded by the order. Hawaii, with its remote location and relative inaccessibility, could have been an ideal place to hide these relics, either in physical form or in coded knowledge hidden within the landscape itself. While there is no direct evidence that the Templars actually placed any physical treasure in Hawaii, there are numerous stories of treasure maps and hidden hoards that have surfaced throughout the centuries. Some legends suggest that the Templars, in their search for a safe haven, may have left behind clues or markers pointing to the location of their treasure. It is possible that such treasure was hidden not only in Europe, but in places as far away as the Hawaiian Islands. The idea of hidden treasure and secret maps ties into the larger Templar narrative of secrecy and concealed knowledge. For the Templars, treasure was not just material wealth. It was a symbol of their sacred mission and the power that came with it. As we continue to explore the Templar connection to Hawaii, it is important to remember that this is not just a historical mystery. It is a story about the nature of secret knowledge, the search for spiritual truth, and the lengths to which those in power will go to preserve their secrets. Hawaii, with its rich spiritual traditions, its geographical significance, and its deep connection to the stars, may have been the perfect place for the Templars to continue their quest for enlightenment and safeguard their ancient wisdom. Whether they left behind physical treasures or simply encoded their knowledge within the land itself, the Templars' legacy in Hawaii serves as a reminder of the enduring power of hidden truths and the secret societies that protect them. As we delve deeper into the Templars' possible influence on Hawaii, the story takes another unexpected turn, one that explores the idea of coded symbols and hidden messages in the very fabric of the islands. The concept of sacred geometry and hidden symbols is central to the Templar mystery, and it is highly plausible that the Templars, known for their use of symbols as tools for preserving and transmitting secret knowledge, could have left behind encoded messages or symbols in Hawaii. These symbols, often seen in the art and architecture of the Templars, have been theorized to contain profound spiritual insights and navigational clues, and they may hold the key to unlocking the mysteries of their presence in Hawaii. The Templars were adept at embedding hidden meanings within seemingly innocuous symbols, a practice known as symbolism. They used geometry, numbers, and architecture as a language to communicate with those who possessed the key to deciphering them. One of the most famous examples of this is the use of the rose cross in Templar art and design. The rose cross, a symbol of the divine and human connection, was central to the Templar Order's mysticism. It is a symbol that represents the intersection of heaven and earth and the union of the physical and spiritual worlds. Could the rose cross, or a variation of it, have been used in Hawaii, either in rock carvings, sacred sites, or temple structures, to mark places of importance for the Templars? If so, these symbols may still be hidden in plain sight, waiting to be uncovered by modern researchers. In fact, numerous ancient Hawaiian petroglyphs, rock carvings created by early Polynesians, contain intricate designs that resemble symbols often associated with the Templars. These include crosses, spirals, and geometric shapes that bear a striking resemblance to Templar motifs. While many of these symbols are thought to have spiritual or ritual significance within Polynesian culture, it is intriguing to consider the possibility that they could also have been used by the Templars to mark locations or encode secret messages. Could the Templars have been aware of these symbols, or perhaps even contributed to their creation as part of a wider effort to map out sacred sites and energy centers on the islands? The use of symbols and sacred geometry was not limited to the Templars alone. Many ancient cultures, including the Polynesians, used symbols to represent their understanding of the universe, the cosmos, and the spiritual forces that govern their lives. The Polynesians, for example, were known for their sophisticated understanding of navigation and the stars. They used the stars as a map to navigate across the vast Pacific Ocean, and their sacred temples and structures were often aligned with celestial bodies. This shared emphasis on the cosmos, spiritual geometry, and sacred knowledge provides a fascinating common ground between the Templars and the ancient Hawaiian culture. Could the Templars have seen this knowledge as a complementary system, one that they could integrate into their own spiritual practices? This leads us to another critical question. What might the Templars have been looking for in Hawaii that would have motivated them to leave behind clues and symbols? The answer, it seems, lies in the Templars' ongoing quest for the Holy Grail, the legendary vessel that is said to hold divine wisdom and the power to grant immortality. For centuries, the Grail has been a symbol of ultimate spiritual knowledge and enlightenment, sought after by both religious and mystical traditions. The Templars are believed by some researchers to have been protectors of the Grail, or at least custodians of knowledge about its existence and its location. Many theories suggest that the Holy Grail is not a physical object, but a symbol of hidden knowledge, knowledge that, once discovered, could lead to a higher state of spiritual awakening. It is possible that the Templars, after their downfall in Europe, sought to uncover this knowledge in distant lands, such as Hawaii. The islands, with their unique alignment to the stars and their mystical traditions, could have been seen as a repository of ancient wisdom, knowledge that had been passed down by Polynesian navigators, the stars, and perhaps even earlier civilizations. Could the Templars have come to Hawaii in search of the Grail's hidden knowledge, encoded in the land itself? One of the most intriguing aspects of the Templar journey is the idea that they may have left behind a series of clues buried deep within the land that point to the Grail's location or its secret teachings. The concept of hidden treasure maps, whether literal or symbolic, has long been associated with the Templars. In fact, one of the most famous Templar-related legends is the story of the treasure hidden by the Knights during their flight from Europe. Could Hawaii, with its rich spiritual and geographical significance, have been a critical stop on the Templar journey to uncover the secrets of the Grail? There are also compelling stories of ancient maps, secret codes, and cryptic symbols that have been found in various parts of the world, including Hawaii. Some researchers believe that these maps are not mere artifacts of ancient cultures, but coded instructions left behind by the Templars to guide future generations to hidden knowledge. Hawaii's remote location makes it an ideal place to hide such maps, as they would be shielded from the reach of the outside world. These maps may have been designed to be deciphered only by those with the proper knowledge that could unlock the secrets of the Grail or provide access to the hidden spiritual wisdom that the Templars sought. The presence of mysterious stone markers, rock carvings, and intricate geometric designs in Hawaiian sacred sites only adds to the possibility that these symbols were not coincidental. These carvings may not only reflect the Polynesian understanding of the cosmos, but could also contain cryptic messages left by the Templars themselves. Researchers and treasure hunters have long speculated that hidden codes and maps are embedded in these petroglyphs, providing clues to the location of Templar treasures or the path to spiritual enlightenment. These carvings could act as a form of spiritual navigation, guiding those who understand the symbols towards the hidden knowledge or sacred sites that the Templars sought to protect. One such location that has intrigued both Templar enthusiasts and treasure hunters is the island of Kauai, where numerous petroglyphs and stone structures have been discovered. Kauai, known as the Garden Isle, is home to several ancient sites, including the mysterious Wailu'a River and the sacred mountain of Waileau. These locations are aligned with celestial bodies, and their significance within Hawaiian culture suggests they were used for ritual and spiritual purposes. The presence of petroglyphs on Kauai, which include images of crosses and other symbols, has led some to believe that this island may have been a place of great importance for the Templars. Could the Templars have left behind messages or markers here, pointing to a larger secret? The idea of hidden knowledge encoded in symbols and maps is not limited to historical Templar investigations. Many modern scholars and researchers believe that ancient civilizations, including the Templars, were skilled in the use of symbols as a language of their own. Symbols, when properly understood, are thought to convey a deeper meaning that transcends the physical world and reaches into the spiritual realm. This is why the study of sacred geometry, alchemy, and astrology played such a significant role in Templar practices. It is also why the discovery of symbols and codes in Hawaiian petroglyphs is so significant. These symbols, whether or not they were created by the Templars themselves, may represent a shared language of spiritual knowledge, a language that can only be understood by those who have the key to decipher it. As we continue our investigation into the Templar mystery in Hawaii, it becomes increasingly apparent that the islands may hold the key to unlocking the greatest secrets of the Templar Order. The symbols, the sacred sites, and the hidden knowledge encoded in the land itself may provide a map, a guide to the hidden wisdom that the Templars sought to protect. Whether these symbols are relics of Templar influence or remnants of ancient spiritual traditions, they serve as a reminder that the quest for hidden knowledge is ongoing and that the answers we seek may be hidden in plain sight, waiting to be uncovered by those with the eyes to see. As we approach the final stages of our exploration into the Templar connection to Hawaii, we begin to see a larger narrative unfolding, one that ties together not just the Templars and their secrets, but also the wider context of their legacy and its lasting impact on the modern world. The Templars, despite their official dissolution in the early 14th century, left behind a trail of clues, stories, and symbols that continued to intrigue scholars, treasure hunters, and conspiracy theorists alike. But what if the true purpose of the Templar journey to Hawaii was not merely to hide treasure or protect ancient knowledge? What if it was also part of a broader, more profound spiritual mission, one that continues to resonate with us today? In recent years, there has been an increasing interest in the idea that the Templars were not just a medieval military order, but also spiritual pioneers, tasked with guarding a deeper, esoteric truth that could revolutionize our understanding of human existence. This truth, which the Templars are believed to have uncovered in the wake of their search for the Holy Grail and other sacred relics, is not just about material wealth or political power. It is about spiritual enlightenment, unlocking hidden aspects of consciousness and understanding the mysteries of the universe. The Templars, in their journey to Hawaii, may have been pursuing a path of spiritual discovery that would change the course of history. The idea of spiritual enlightenment is central to the Templar story. Throughout their history, the Templars were drawn to sacred knowledge, whether it was in the form of hidden texts, esoteric teachings, or the secrets of the natural world. They were deeply interested in alchemy, astrology, sacred geometry, and other mystical disciplines that sought to understand the divine order of the cosmos. These disciplines, which were passed down through ancient traditions, were seen as keys to unlocking the hidden truths of existence. But why would the Templars, a warrior order, be so invested in spiritual enlightenment? The answer may lie in their role as protectors of the sacred. The Templars were not only tasked with defending Christendom during the Crusades, they were also tasked with guarding sacred knowledge. In their time, the Church held a monopoly on religious knowledge, and the Templars, as a quasi-religious military order, had access to information that was restricted from the general public. They were believed to have knowledge of ancient rituals, divine wisdom, and hidden truths that had been concealed for centuries. It is possible that in the aftermath of the Templars' fall from power, many members of the order went into hiding, not just to escape persecution, but to continue their mission of preserving and disseminating this knowledge. Hawaii, with its unique spiritual significance, could have been seen as an ideal location for this mission. The islands, with their rich traditions of navigation, astronomy, and cosmology, may have held the key to unlocking deeper truths about the universe. It is plausible that the Templars, having explored many ancient cultures and their spiritual practices, saw in Hawaii a place where these teachings could be further developed or shared with a select few. Perhaps they believed that the key to humanity's spiritual evolution lay in the convergence of ancient knowledge and the natural forces represented in the islands: the earth, the sea, and the sky. One of the most compelling aspects of Hawaiian spiritual beliefs is their emphasis on the interconnectedness of all things. The Hawaiians believed that everything in the universe was connected through a web of energy, mana, that flowed through the land, the sea, and the sky. This concept of mana, which represents a life force that permeates all aspects of existence, may have resonated deeply with the Templars, who were themselves interested in understanding the underlying spiritual forces of the universe. The Templars, through their study of alchemy and sacred geometry, may have recognized the power of this energy and sought to harness it in their quest for spiritual enlightenment. In Hawaiian culture, the concept of mana is deeply tied to the land itself. The Hawaiians believed that certain sacred sites, known as heiau, were imbued with special energy that could facilitate communication with the gods or spirits. These sites were often aligned with celestial bodies, and their locations were carefully chosen to maximize their spiritual significance. The Templars, who were well-versed in sacred geometry and the alignment of temples and structures, may have seen in these sacred Hawaiian sites a reflection of their own spiritual practices. The idea that the land itself could be imbued with sacred energy would have likely been of great interest to the Templars, whose mission was not just about material wealth, but about unlocking the spiritual potential of the world around them. It is also worth considering the possibility that the Templars saw Hawaii as a key to understanding the lost civilizations of the past. The Templars were known to have been avid researchers of ancient cultures and texts, and they believed that much of the wisdom of the ancient world had been hidden from the masses. In their quest for the Holy Grail and other relics, the Templars may have been searching for clues about lost civilizations that had once possessed advanced spiritual and scientific knowledge. Could Hawaii, with its rich oral traditions and ancient petroglyphs, have been seen as a repository of this lost knowledge? Perhaps the Templars believed that the Hawaiian Islands held the key to unlocking the mysteries of humanity's forgotten past, knowledge that could change the course of history. The mystery of the Templars in Hawaii is not just a question of hidden treasure or spiritual enlightenment. It is also a question of their place in the grand tapestry of human history. The Templars, in their search for hidden knowledge, may have been part of a larger tradition of spiritual seekers, one that spans across cultures and civilizations. From the ancient Egyptians to the Mayans, from the Greeks to the Hawaiians, there's always been a deep-seated belief in the existence of hidden knowledge that has been passed down through the ages, concealed by those in power, and guarded by secret societies. The Templars, as custodians of this knowledge, were perhaps more than just a medieval order of knights. They may have been part of a long-standing tradition of spiritual seekers, attempting to bridge the gap between the material and spiritual worlds. In their journey to Hawaii, they may have been continuing a quest that began long before them, one that sought to uncover the deeper truths of the universe and our place within it. The Hawaiian Islands, with their spiritual significance, may have represented a critical point in this quest, a place where ancient knowledge could be unlocked and passed on to future generations. In this sense, the story of the Templars in Hawaii is not just a historical mystery. It is also a timeless tale of human curiosity and spiritual yearning. The Templars, like so many before and after them, sought to understand the mysteries of the universe and our connection to the divine. Whether they found the answers they were looking for in Hawaii, or whether the true significance of their mission lies hidden beneath the surface, their legacy continues to resonate with us today. The quest for hidden knowledge, spiritual enlightenment, and the secrets of the universe is a journey that transcends time and place, one that continues to inspire those who seek to uncover the mysteries of the past and unlock the potential of the future. In this way, the story of the Templars in Hawaii is not just an isolated event in history, but a part of a much larger spiritual tradition, a tradition that spans the ages and continues to shape the way we view the world today. Whether or not the Templars ever set foot in Hawaii, their quest for hidden knowledge and spiritual awakening is a story that continues to captivate and inspire us. And perhaps, in the process of uncovering their secrets, we are also uncovering a deeper truth about ourselves, a truth that connects us all across time and space in our shared search for meaning and enlightenment. As the journey into the mysteries of the Templars in Hawaii nears its conclusion, we begin to unravel the threads of a much larger web of intrigue, one that connects not just the Templars, but also the global network of secret societies, hidden knowledge, and the ancient wisdom that has been passed down through the ages. By now, we have explored the possibility that the Templars may have been active in Hawaii, leaving behind cryptic symbols and sacred maps that point to a far deeper mystery. But as we peer into this enigmatic history, it becomes increasingly clear that the story of the Templars in Hawaii is not an isolated chapter in the broader tapestry of esoteric traditions. Rather, it is part of a centuries-old continuum of spiritual seekers who have explored the boundaries of consciousness and the nature of divine truth. The Templars, of course, were not the only secret society that engaged in the search for hidden knowledge. Throughout history, numerous groups have been known to protect or seek out sacred texts, lost artifacts, and forgotten wisdom. Many of these societies, such as the Freemasons, the Rosicrucians, and the Knights Hospitaller, share a common thread with the Templars. They all believed in the idea that there was ancient, secret knowledge hidden from the masses, knowledge that could unlock the mysteries of the universe, provide access to higher states of consciousness, and lead humanity towards spiritual enlightenment. One of the most compelling aspects of these secret societies is their use of symbols and rituals to convey hidden meanings. These symbols were not just decorative or ornamental. They were encoded messages meant to be understood only by those who had been initiated into the secrets of the group. Symbols like the compass and square of the Freemasons, the rose cross of the Templars, and the various alchemical symbols used by the Rosicrucians all serve as keys to understanding a deeper truth about the nature of the universe. The Templars, as initiates in this broader tradition, likely understood the power of these symbols and may have used them to encode their own knowledge in the physical landscape of Hawaii. What sets the Templars apart from many of these other groups, however, is their connection to the Holy Grail and their apparent possession of a body of esoteric knowledge that transcended religious boundaries. The Grail, according to many interpretations, represents the ultimate spiritual truth, the divine knowledge that connects humanity with the source of all creation. The Templars, in their quest for the Grail, may have been seeking not just a physical object, but a spiritual experience that would allow them to access this knowledge. This pursuit, which took the Templars across Europe, the Holy Land, and possibly even to distant shores like Hawaii, was not just a search for material wealth or power, but a quest for enlightenment, one that was tied to the very fabric of the universe. In this sense, the Templars were perhaps the forerunners of a global movement that sought to understand the mysteries of the cosmos and the inner workings of the human soul. Their connection to Hawaii and the possibility that they left behind symbols and messages in the islands represents a fascinating piece of a much larger puzzle, one that connects the Templars to other ancient civilizations and spiritual seekers who have walked similar paths. From the ancient Egyptians and Sumerians to the Greeks and the Polynesians, there's a long history of cultures that believed in the existence of hidden knowledge, knowledge that could unlock the potential of the human mind and spirit. It is also worth noting that many of the esoteric traditions associated with the Templars and other secret societies are not confined to the past. In fact, these teachings continue to resonate with modern spiritual seekers who are drawn to the idea of accessing higher states of consciousness and unlocking the hidden potential within themselves. This modern-day quest for spiritual awakening is often framed in terms of awakening or enlightenment, a process of self-discovery that allows individuals to connect with the divine source and achieve a higher level of understanding. Whether through meditation, ritual, or the study of sacred texts, the pursuit of this knowledge remains a central theme in many spiritual and philosophical traditions around the world. But what does all this mean for the mysteries of the Templars in Hawaii? As we continue to explore the evidence of their presence in the islands, through symbols, petroglyphs, and sacred sites, we can begin to see how this broader esoteric tradition may have played a role in shaping the Templars' journey. The Templars, like many other secret societies, were deeply interested in the idea that the universe was not simply a material world, but a divine creation, imbued with hidden forces and spiritual truths. The Templars' search for the Grail, their use of sacred geometry, and their involvement in the spiritual practices of other cultures all point to a quest for deeper understanding, one that transcended religious dogma and sought to uncover universal truths. In this sense, Hawaii may have represented a kind of spiritual crossroads for the Templars. The islands, with their rich spiritual traditions and alignment with the stars, could have served as a focal point for their quest for enlightenment. The Templars were not just interested in geographical locations, but in the spiritual energy of those places, the sacred power that could be tapped into through careful study and ritual. Hawaii's ancient sacred sites, with their cosmic alignments and deep spiritual significance, may have offered the Templars a unique opportunity to connect with the divine forces that they believed governed the universe. One of the key aspects of this spiritual journey is the idea of initiation. In many secret societies, including the Templars, initiation was a crucial step in unlocking higher knowledge. Initiates were carefully guided through a series of stages, each one revealing deeper truths about the nature of reality and the self. These initiations were often accompanied by rituals, symbols, and teachings that were meant to guide the initiate towards spiritual awakening. The Templars, as initiates in their own right, may have seen Hawaii as a place where they could continue their own spiritual development, moving closer to the divine wisdom they sought. This concept of initiation and spiritual awakening also ties into the idea of hidden knowledge, which remains a central theme in the Templar story. The Templars, like many other spiritual seekers, believed that knowledge was not simply something to be learned intellectually, but something to be experienced on a deeper, more intuitive level. This knowledge could be accessed through direct communion with the divine, through the study of sacred texts, or through the exploration of sacred sites. The idea that sacred locations could act as portals to higher knowledge is a common thread in many spiritual traditions, and Hawaii's sacred landscapes may have been seen by the Templars as powerful points of contact with the divine. In this sense, the story of the Templars in Hawaii is not just about the physical presence of the Knights on the islands, but about the deeper spiritual journey that they may have undertaken. Their quest for the Holy Grail and the wisdom it represented was, at its core, a search for self-realization and enlightenment, a journey that continues to resonate with spiritual seekers today. Whether through the study of sacred geometry, the decoding of ancient symbols, or the exploration of spiritual practices, the quest for hidden knowledge is a timeless pursuit, one that connects the Templars to the broader tradition of esoteric wisdom and to the ongoing search for truth that transcends time and space. Ultimately, the story of the Templars in Hawaii is more than just a mystery of hidden treasure or ancient artifacts. It is a story of spiritual exploration, one that takes us to the heart of human consciousness in our quest to understand the divine forces that shape our lives. The Templars, through their secret symbols and sacred teachings, offer us a glimpse into this deeper truth, a truth that continues to guide those who seek to uncover the mysteries of the universe and the hidden potential within themselves. As we look to the future, the Templars' journey and the legacy they left behind in Hawaii serves as a reminder that the search for knowledge and spiritual awakening is an ongoing journey, one that invites us to explore the unknown and discover the hidden truths that lie just beneath the surface. As our investigation moves deeper into the heart of this sprawling mystery, a new layer begins to reveal itself, one that brings the past and present into direct conversation. For centuries, the story of a Knights Templar has existed in a strange twilight zone between history and legend. Yet in Hawaii, the echoes of their possible presence seem to resonate not only through ancient symbols and esoteric alignments, but through modern encounters, strange discoveries, unexplained artifacts, and eyewitness accounts that refuse to fade away. This is the point in the journey where long-buried histories collide with living memory, and where the line between documented fact and haunting possibility becomes almost impossible to separate. Throughout the Hawaiian Islands, there have been reports of unusual objects uncovered in remote areas, items that defy explanation when placed within the known timeline of Polynesian settlement. Among these are stone markers that bear what appear to be cross-like carvings, geometric arrangements that resemble Templar iconography, and metallic fragments whose origins remain unclear. While mainstream historians often dismiss these findings as natural formations or misinterpretations, a growing number of researchers argue that these anomalies point to a forgotten chapter of contact, one that could implicate the Templars or a later order inheriting their legacy. One of the most intriguing discoveries involves a series of stone alignments found on a rugged stretch of coastline on the Big Island. These stones, arranged with mathematical precision, form patterns that strongly resemble the Templar cross when viewed from above. The stones themselves are ancient, weathered by centuries of exposure, yet their placement suggests deliberate design rather than coincidence. Local researchers who studied the site noted that the alignment also correlates with specific star positions on the night of the winter solstice, mirroring the Templar practice of integrating astronomy into their sacred designs. This discovery, though not publicly acknowledged by academic institutions, has become a central point of discussion in alternative history circles. Equally compelling are accounts from early Hawaiian oral tradition that reference pale-skinned visitors arriving from distant lands in the remote past, long before the arrival of Captain Cook in the late 18th century. These stories speak of men of the dawn or pale navigators who came from the east, bearing strange artifacts, metal tools, and a cross-like symbol carved into wooden boards. While oral traditions are often symbolic, they frequently preserve accurate historical memories encoded within mythology. The mention of cross-bearing visitors has led some theorists to suggest that these early tales may be describing contact with survivors of the Templar diaspora or explorers who inherited Templar routes and sacred geographic knowledge. There are also modern accounts that add fuel to this growing mystery. Over the last several decades, hikers, archaeologists, and even U.S. military personnel have reported discovering carven symbols on remote cliff sides or deep within forested areas, symbols resembling the Latin cross, spirals, and interconnected circles that evoke sacred geometry. One retired Navy pilot claimed that during a routine survey of Kauai in the 1970s, he spotted a massive geometric formation atop a ridge, fashioned from stones that seemed to form a compass-like pattern. When he returned to investigate days later, the formation appeared partially dismantled, as if someone had intentionally removed keystones. He was told by superiors not to pursue the matter further. The idea that someone or some group might be actively covering up evidence of early Western or esoteric presence in Hawaii introduces a new dimension to the story. Many conspiracy researchers argue that the Templars, or their successors, may have left behind relics, maps, or inscriptions that point to deeper truths about ancient history and humanity's hidden past. If such artifacts were found by local authorities or the military, it raises questions about why they would be concealed. Could these discoveries challenge established narratives? Or might they reveal secrets connected to the Templars and their global networks that certain institutions would prefer remained hidden? One modern legend that refuses to die involves a sealed cave on Molokai, said to contain the parchment chest, a mysterious container rumored to hold ancient documents and maps. Locals claim that in the 1920s, a group of foreign researchers attempted to excavate the cave under the cover of darkness. After several weeks, the team disappeared without explanation, and the cave entrance was sealed by a sudden landslide. Decades later, in the 1960s, military engineers surveying the island allegedly detected a hollow chamber beneath the same area using early forms of ground-penetrating radar. Whatever they found was never disclosed. Some believe the chamber holds relics linked to early European visitors, possibly even a collection of Templar manuscripts protected from destruction in Europe. The idea of hidden chambers, sealed caves, and lost manuscripts fits neatly into the broader Templar narrative. Throughout history, the Templars were known to store important documents in underground vaults, secret rooms, and remote locations that were difficult for enemies to reach. After their suppression, it is said that many of these documents were scattered across the world, hidden by knights fleeing persecution. If Hawaii was indeed one of their secret sanctuaries, it would make perfect sense for them to have concealed important writings or artifacts within caves or sacred landscapes. Another curious connection emerges through the study of navigation. The Polynesians were among the greatest navigators in human history, using the stars, winds, and ocean swells to travel thousands of miles across the Pacific. Their methods, passed down through oral memory, are strikingly similar to the celestial navigation techniques used by medieval sailors, including the Templars, who possessed their own coded star charts and maritime knowledge inherited from older civilizations. Some anthropologists have noted uncanny similarities between Polynesian star compasses and ancient Mediterranean navigation systems, suggesting the possibility of cultural exchange in the distant past. If the Templars encountered Polynesian navigators or learned from them, they may have gained access to knowledge far older than their order itself. Hawaiian star lore, for example, includes references to the Pleiades, Orion, and other constellations that feature prominently in Templar cosmology. This shared link to the stars raises an intriguing possibility that the Templars recognized the Hawaiian Islands as part of a global network of sacred sites aligned with celestial forces. If true, Hawaii would not be an isolated chapter in Templar history, but a crucial node in a much larger spiritual map. As with all great mysteries, modern skepticism runs parallel to these theories. Traditional historians argue that there is no concrete evidence of Templar voyages to the Pacific and that similarities in symbols or star lore could be coincidental. Yet the accumulation of anomalies, unexplained artifacts, oral traditions, stone alignments, and witness accounts suggest that something more complex may lie beneath the surface. It is precisely this ambiguity that keeps the mystery alive. The absence of definitive proof does not close the case. Instead, it creates an open space where speculation, wonder, and investigation can flourish. The Templar story has always existed in this liminal space between what is known and what is possible. And Hawaii, with its deep spiritual resonance and enigmatic landscapes, becomes the perfect setting for this ongoing mystery. Whether we are dealing with remnants of Templar explorers, later esoteric travelers, or simply a series of extraordinary coincidences, the convergence of these elements points to a deeper truth, one that hints at a hidden history waiting to be uncovered. And as we approach the climactic revelations ahead, the question grows ever clearer. If the Templars did leave their mark in Hawaii, what final secret were they trying to protect? The path forward now leads us to the threshold of the ultimate revelation, a truth that may reshape everything we thought we knew about the Templars, Hawaii, and the ancient world itself. As we stand on the brink of uncovering the final secrets of the Templars in Hawaii, it becomes clear that this is more than just a mystery of hidden symbols or ancient maps. It is a story that invites us to reconsider the nature of history itself, how it is written, how it is preserved, and how it is deliberately obscured. The deeper we go into the puzzle of the Templars' potential connection to the Hawaiian Islands, the more we realize that their story is not just one of medieval knights, treasure hunts, and crusades. It is a story of knowledge, both sacred and secret, that has been passed down through generations, carefully concealed by powerful forces intent on maintaining control over humanity's collective consciousness. At the heart of this larger story lies the notion of suppressed history, the idea that certain truths have been deliberately hidden from the public, often for centuries, is not new. From the Vatican's alleged suppression of ancient texts to the concealment of lost civilizations like Atlantis, to the systematic erasure of indigenous histories, the pattern is clear. Those who control knowledge also control power. The Templars themselves were acutely aware of this fact. Their mission was never simply about wealth or military conquest. It was about safeguarding knowledge, sacred knowledge that, if revealed, could disrupt the established order and open the door to a higher understanding of reality. As we near the final stages of this investigation, we must consider the possibility that the Templars' connection to Hawaii is part of a much larger, global conspiracy, one that stretches from the far reaches of the medieval world to the contemporary age. While the mainstream narrative of history insists that the Templars were either destroyed or forced into obscurity by the 14th century, an alternative history suggests that they may have gone underground, continuing their mission in secret, passing on their teachings through hidden channels, and leaving cryptic clues for those who know how to look. One of the most powerful pieces of evidence supporting this theory comes in the form of a map, the so-called Mappa Mundi. An ancient Templar map said to depict secret locations around the world includes several key sites that are conspicuously similar to the geographies of the Pacific Islands, particularly Hawaii. The map, which was rediscovered in the 19th century, shows an area in the Pacific Ocean marked by a symbol that resembles the Templar cross. Researchers have long debated the authenticity of the map, with some insisting that it was a medieval creation, while others argue that it is a more modern fabrication. Regardless of its origin, the inclusion of the Pacific region on the map suggests that the Templars, or someone connected to their order, had knowledge of the islands long before European explorers officially discovered them. Could this map be part of a larger network of documents that point to Templar activity in the Pacific? If the Templars did indeed use their maps to navigate not only the Mediterranean, but also the far reaches of the globe, including Hawaii, it would explain why certain symbols and alignments found in Hawaii resemble those used by Templars throughout Europe. These patterns are not just artistic or coincidental. They are part of a carefully encoded language of esoteric knowledge, a language that only the initiated could understand. But the question remains, why Hawaii? Why would the Templars, or any secret society, be drawn to these distant islands, seemingly isolated from the rest of the world? To answer this, we must look deeper into the spiritual significance of the Hawaiian Islands, which were considered by many ancient cultures to be sacred, not just geographically, but cosmically. The Polynesians, who navigated the Pacific long before European exploration, believed that their islands were aligned with the stars, and that the land itself was imbued with sacred power. The Templars, as we know, were deeply involved in the study of sacred geometry and celestial alignments. It is possible that they recognized Hawaii as a crucial node in a network of sacred sites that stretched across the globe, all aligned with the stars and the divine order of the universe. This celestial connection would explain why the Templars might have chosen to make their mark in Hawaii, why they may have used the islands as a base from which to further their spiritual and esoteric pursuits. The ancient Hawaiians, like the Templars, understood that the earth itself is a reflection of the heavens, and that by aligning sacred sites with celestial events, they could tap into divine energy. Hawaii, with its unique geographical position in the Pacific, may have represented a spiritual nexus, an ideal location for those seeking to connect with higher forces and unlock the mysteries of the cosmos. But the Templars' interest in Hawaii may have also been tied to the larger global conspiracy to control knowledge. The secrets they possessed, knowledge of sacred geometry, alchemy, and ancient wisdom, were not meant for the public. The Templars understood the power that comes with controlling spiritual knowledge, and they were not alone in this pursuit. Throughout history, various secret societies have sought to monopolize access to hidden truths, knowing that once the masses gain access to this knowledge, their power would be diminished. The suppression of sacred knowledge, then, becomes not just a matter of historical record, but a matter of control, a control that has been passed down through generations of powerful organizations. In this sense, Hawaii may have been chosen not just for its spiritual significance, but because it provided a place of refuge, away from the prying eyes of mainstream history and politics, where esoteric wisdom could be guarded and preserved. By keeping the true nature of the Templars' connection to the islands a secret, the Order could continue its mission without fear of interference. It was a place where their knowledge could remain intact, safe from the destructive forces of those who would seek to destroy or control it. The idea of suppressed knowledge is further supported by the fact that the history of the Templars is itself shrouded in mystery. After their official dissolution in 1312, many of the Order's members were either executed or forced into hiding. Yet their teachings did not vanish. They persisted, transmitted in secret, protected by the few who understood their true value. The Templar survival, both as a concept and as a living tradition, is evident in the many offshoots of their order, such as the Freemasons and other secret societies, that have existed throughout the centuries. These organizations, in their own ways, have kept the Templar flame alive, continuing to pass down their teachings through hidden symbols, rituals, and coded language. In many ways, the ongoing mystery of the Templars in Hawaii represents a microcosm of this larger historical narrative. It is a story of hidden knowledge, spiritual enlightenment, and the forces that work to keep such truths concealed. Whether through cryptic symbols carved into stones, ancient maps that point to forgotten places, or oral traditions that have been passed down through generations, the Templars' legacy continues to unfold before us. As we peer into the depths of this mystery, we are reminded that history is not a fixed narrative, but a living, breathing entity, one that is constantly shifting, evolving, and revealing new truths. The journey we have taken to uncover the Templars' connection to Hawaii is far from over. In fact, it is only just beginning. For as we have seen, the evidence is not easily dismissed. There are still many unanswered questions, many mysteries that remain hidden beneath the surface. But perhaps this is the true nature of the Templar story, an ongoing search for knowledge that transcends time and space, a search that continues to inspire those who dare to seek the truth, no matter how elusive it may be. And as we approach the final chapter of this journey, one thing is clear. The Templars' secrets are far from lost. They are alive and well, waiting to be discovered by those who are willing to look beyond the veil of mainstream history and into the deeper truths that lie hidden in the shadows. As we reach the final chapter of this long and winding journey, we are confronted with a fundamental question. What does all of this mean for us today? The story of the Templars in Hawaii, the hidden symbols, the strange artifacts, and the suppressed knowledge. What is the larger significance of it all? This question is not just academic. It touches upon the very essence of how we perceive our past, our future, and our place in the world. For those of us who have ventured deep into this mystery, the implications stretch far beyond the islands themselves. The Templars' legacy and the secrets they left behind offer a roadmap to understanding the world in a new way, one that challenges the conventional narratives we have been taught and invites us to question the stories that shape our collective consciousness. The Templar connection to Hawaii may seem like a strange and far-fetched tale, but when examined through the lens of suppressed history, esoteric knowledge, and the global patterns of power, it begins to take on a much deeper significance. What we are seeing is not just a mystery about ancient knights or hidden treasures, but a reflection of a much larger struggle, one that has been ongoing for centuries. This struggle is about control over knowledge, control over history, and ultimately, control over humanity's understanding of itself. Throughout history, powerful institutions have sought to control knowledge, often with the explicit intention of shaping the worldview of the masses. From the Catholic Church's suppression of heretical ideas to the burning of ancient libraries, to the control of the media in the modern era, the pattern is clear. Knowledge is power. Those who possess it hold the keys to shaping reality. This is why secret societies like the Templars, with their vast reserves of esoteric knowledge, have always been so dangerous to the status quo. Their knowledge was not just about wealth or power. It was about unlocking the true potential of humanity. And for those who wish to maintain control over the masses, such knowledge was a threat that needed to be concealed. This is where the story of Hawaii becomes particularly relevant. The Hawaiian Islands, with their remote location and rich spiritual traditions, represent a place where the veil of mainstream history is thinnest. Here, the story of the Templars intersects with the story of the indigenous people, whose understanding of the world was rooted in a deep connection to the land, the stars, and the cycles of nature. The knowledge that the Templars may have encountered, or even passed down, could have been far more than just material wealth or power. It could have been a kind of wisdom that transcends the limits of our current understanding, a wisdom that could offer answers to the very nature of existence itself. But this wisdom, as we have seen, has not been easily accessible. It has been hidden, suppressed, and distorted for centuries. Whether through the destruction of sacred texts, the erasure of indigenous histories, or the suppression of alternative historical narratives, the forces that have sought to keep this knowledge out of the public eye are powerful and relentless. They are not just academic or intellectual forces. They are social, political, and even spiritual forces that have shaped the course of history. In this sense, the Templars' hidden presence in Hawaii becomes a symbol of a much larger battle, a battle for the preservation and dissemination of ancient wisdom, and for the reclamation of our collective history. But even as these forces work to conceal the truth, there are those who continue to search for it. Whether through the study of ancient symbols, the exploration of forgotten landscapes, or the investigation of suppressed histories, there are individuals and groups who are dedicated to uncovering the secrets that have been hidden for so long. And this quest is not just about the Templars or Hawaii. It is about something far greater. It is about reclaiming the knowledge that has been lost, rediscovering the wisdom that has been suppressed, and restoring our connection to the deeper truths of the world. The Templars and the mystery surrounding their possible presence in Hawaii serve as a reminder that history is not just a set of facts or dates. It is a living, breathing story that is constantly evolving. The past is not fixed. It is fluid, shaped by those who seek to uncover it, and by those who seek to suppress it. As we look at the Templars and their hidden legacy, we are reminded that the search for truth is not just an intellectual pursuit. It is a spiritual one. It is about reconnecting with the deeper mysteries of existence, and about finding a path to greater understanding and enlightenment. As we come to the end of our journey, we must also acknowledge that this is not the end. The story of the Templars in Hawaii, like all great mysteries, will continue to unfold. New discoveries will be made, new pieces of the puzzle will be uncovered, and new questions will arise. The world is full of hidden knowledge, and there are still many secrets left to be discovered. And so, while this chapter may be closing, the journey itself is far from over. What we have learned in this exploration is that the Templars, whether directly or indirectly, have left an indelible mark on the world, one that has shaped our understanding of history, spirituality, and the nature of reality. The hidden symbols, the ancient maps, the oral traditions, and the strange artifacts found in Hawaii are not just relics of the past. They are living reminders of the power of knowledge, and of the importance of seeking the truth, no matter how elusive or difficult it may be. In the end, the greatest secret the Templars may have left behind is not a treasure chest or a hidden document. It is the knowledge that we, too, are capable of discovering the deeper truths of the world around us. The journey is not over, and the answers we seek may not be found in the past, but in the present. The Templars and the mysteries they left behind challenge us to look beyond the surface, to question the accepted narratives, and to seek out the hidden truths that are waiting to be uncovered. It is a challenge that we all must face as individuals and as a collective society. As we close the book on this chapter, let us remember that history is not a static thing. It is a living, breathing entity shaped by those who seek to uncover its mysteries and by those who seek to keep it hidden. The Templars, with their ancient wisdom and their enduring legacy, remind us that the search for truth is not just a journey through time, but a journey into the heart of the human spirit, a journey that will continue to unfold as long as we are willing to seek it.